I thought maybe I would do a new segment called Hangout Sundays. Talk about something that automotive related that happened to me that I think would be interesting. It is, we got like 8 inches of snow last night, 6 to 8 inches depending on where you're from. Talk about my first car. My first car was a 1986 Pontiac Firebird with a 305. And I lived in Bolingbrook, Illinois. I was only 15 years old, and I would play with my friends in the neighborhood. You know, we go shoot basketball in somebody's driveway, or walk to the park and play basketball, or play football in the middle of the street, whatever it may be. And I noticed there was this, I would say late 30s, early 40s man. And he would have his garage open, and I could see the front of this white car that was never moved. And I became super, super interested in this car. So I would go up to the guy, and I would ask him questions about the car. And he'd teach me a little something from time to time. The car hadn't run in years. I think back then, I'm 35 now. And back then, that would have, so 20 years ago. That would put us back. Oh, sorry about that. Girlfriend's mom came out to the garage and she's looking for something. I didn't want to be recording with her out here. It'd be kind of awkward, right? Anyways, I learned a little bit about this car over a few month period. And I had a little money saved up from summer jobs, cutting grass and stuff like that, picking up people's lawns, taking out trash and stuff for people, helping some people renovate during the summertime. I think back then, so that was when I was 15. I'm 35 now. That's 20 years ago. That would have put us, it's 21 now, so that would have put us at 2001. And at that time, that vehicle, 86 Pontiac Firebird, so that vehicle was 15 years old, and it was in fairly decent shape. There's no rust holes in it. The body wasn't all rusted out. It had been in the garage for years. Didn't run. And I asked that man one day, I said, if my foster father at the time, something you guys don't know about me is I spent all my teenage years in foster care. I was in 9 different foster homes. And at the time, my foster father, he would say, pretty much no to everything. So I asked him, and he said no, but I went ahead and paid the $300 for the car anyway. It didn't run. Literally, it was like 4 or 5 blocks from the house, and it was uphill. So I pushed it out of the guy's driveway, and then from his driveway, you would come down his driveway and then make a right, and then make a right, and it would go down towards my house. So I put that thing in neutral and just rode the brake, hoping that they would hold all the way down to the house, and rolled it right in front of the house, right there. Took the paperwork and set it on the counter and said, "Dad, I bought a car." He was livid, but he understood. And he said, "Well, does the thing run?" I said, "No, it doesn't run. It needs a lot of work." He said, "Well, you know how to work on cars?" I said, "Nope, don't know nothing, but I'm sure I'll figure it out." So I got to talking to people, local car racers and stuff like that. Buddies would come by the house that were a little bit older than me and knew a little bit more about cars, and slowly we had a starter put in it, put a radiator in it. Ended up taking the carburetor off and taking it to an old man, and he showed me how to clean and adjust everything. And that summer, all I did was pull that motor apart, and every single thing on it that could be cleaned or replaced or adjusted, I did. By the end of that summer, that car was running, and it was running in tip-top shape. I paid $300 for that car. I probably had $1,000 in it, maybe. And it was one of the fastest cars in town because nobody else had, they had little Honda Civics and stuff like that. And even back then, those slow 305s and 350s were still pretty peppy compared to the little Honda Civics, unless you had like a VTEC motor or something back then that would end up walking off and leaving you at 70, 80 mile an hour, which was embarrassing. Happened many times, trust me. And then things slowly progressed from there. My next car was a Z71 Cavalier, manual, pretty quick actually, a 3.1 liter. And then, let's see, what was the next car after that? The next car after that was an Oldsmobile Cutlass Sierra. Absolutely love that car, man. That car was It's an amazing car. It's a faithful car, a reliable car. Never gave me any problems. It's a smooth riding car. You drive that car across country, and it was like you were just driving across country with four wheels on a bed. The only thing that ever happened to that car was I hit a raccoon. It was a big old 20, 25-pound raccoon. And when I hit that thing, it spun up underneath the vehicle and smacked the harmonic balancer and cracked the rubber ring that holds the harmonic balancer together. Me being a stupid kid, I didn't know any better, didn't know how to change it, didn't know what it would take. I ended up actually selling that car.